decides to bring his happy ass around.
Yeah. Whenever he pops in.
Knowing him, he probably completely forgot. Just didn't even think about it. Which, I mean, worse things have happened, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, at least we know, like, we know he exists still. He's still around.
Yeah. Yeah, you're taking advantage of that newly functioning internet to play hooky and not show up for work. Oh, of course, he's playing Monster Hunter.
All work and no play. All work and no play makes Nemi a dull boy.
It certainly makes me dull.
Yeah, same. Very much the
Wait,
same.
retweet that out.
The argument could be made that I'm already a dull boy, but that is
I don't know if,
subjective.
of all the criticisms I've read, I don't think dull has ever been on the list.
We'll see.
I don't know if I'd ever call you a dull boy.
Well, thanks.
There we go.
The cup out of his hand, okay?
Oh, you're too nice to be dull. And you've been on a binge of watching 80s action flicks and nonsense like that for the past couple I don't think dull people do that, man.
Oh man, community night's been nuts, dude. It's been a lot of
Yeah?
fun. We watched The Thing the other day.
Oh, the original?
John Carpenter's A Thing, not like the 1950s one, but like John Carpenter's
Yeah.
A Thing. Oh, buddy.
Oh my good. Great film.
Such a good movie. We've been watching last night instead of handing out candy to people for Halloween, we ended up like just staying in and watching like a bunch of Ghost Adventures.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen any of those?
I have.
I
I have.
it feels like to me that I want to say a lot of them are staged. Cuz the guy's always just like,
I mean,
in here I feel the energy change and I can barely move. He's always looking directly into the camera whenever he says it. So
right, it's weird how all the paranormal activity happens right when he turns the camera on, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah. No, they're just very, very considerate ghosts.
I can't move. I can't move.
We started watching like The Haunting of Hill House or something like that.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
Seen it.
yeah.
We made a mistake when we started it, and for some reason, my wife started us on episode 5,
Okay.
which is like a terrifying episode,
Oh.
especially if you have no clue what's going on up to that point.
Right.
So, and I don't really get freaked out or scared watching scary shows. I was like, turn this shit off.
Yeah.
Turn it off. I can't. The bent neck lady screaming, hovering in the air over a child. I was like, I can't do this right now.
Bent
So
neck
last
lady was a
night-
little freaky.
Yeah, last night we went over to our friend's house
Mm-hmm.
and we were trying to, because it's Halloween, we were going to want to watch it. We always watch a scary movie together. So we put it on and we realized that we started on episode 5. So we go back and we watch like 2, 3, 4, and then we get to 5. And I'm like, it's not as bad now.
Yeah.
But like, if that is your first episode watching it, I was like, I was terrified. I was, I can't do this.
So the episode that we watched of Ghost Adventures last night, or we actually just watched one right now, and it's probably my favorite one because it takes place, I think, at like in Butte, Montana, like
Dang.
one of the like the most haunted or the longest running brothel in Butte, Montana, and there's the guy who owns it. There's a lady that's his friend. She goes, yeah, there's the judge is here and he doesn't like you. And he just says that to the main paranormal investigator. And he's like, the judge? Yeah, he doesn't like you. And she keeps like making moves of like looking upstairs. I was like, there's no way.
Man, I love those ghost shows so much. Like I used to be a big fan of Ghost Hunters. I think I've pretty much gone through virtually every season of Ghost Hunters just because I love seeing that sort of thing, and I always mark out whenever they're in a location here in Florida, and they actually visited a place that I know of in a town right nearby where I live. It's this It's like a saloon, an old saloon that was
Mm-hmm.
built next to a train track, and like somebody got hit by a train there 80, 90 years ago, and then the place is famous for having a haunted, I kid you not, bathroom.
Yeah.
A haunted bathroom, haunted by the woman who was dumb enough to not get out of the way of the train when she was done drinking her sarsaparilla or whatever it was back in those days. So they came down and they spent a night in that place, and it was like they dramatized the crap out of those
Yeah.
shows. Like, oh,
All the ghosts are old
temperature just
too.
dropped 2 degrees.
There's no
Yeah,
like new
right?
ghosts.
What happened? Like, did nobody born after 1943 have any regrets when they died? Like, we just are there no millennial ghosts out there?
Nope.
I want to see the TikTok twerk ghost. That's the ghost I want to see. I want to see that on Ghost Adventures. Just the ghost of a girl who never got as many likes as she needed comes back and twerks every night at 3:33 a.m. That's the ghost I want to see.
What's the crazy, goofy looking, like the woman who's like the scary internet, like not Slender Man or whatever, but there's like a woman who's got this real crazy eyeballs and this real crazy grin. Like my little
Oh.
cousins were showing me pictures when I was like, if I was a kid, I would hate that. Like that would
Momo? Was that
that's
it?
it.
Is it
I think that's it.
Momo?
I think that's
Oh,
it. Yeah. I was like,
Momo. That was
I
last
was
year.
like that would scare me. Like if I don't like it.
Look,
I'm
man,
not okay with that. Like
I'm probably putting myself on a list here, but I was terrified of the way that thing looks. This one was just one of those things where like it's uncanny valley and it's
Yeah.
unsettling. I was terrified of that thing until I saw a version of it with big fat titties. I'm not terrified of Momo anymore. I welcome Momo into my home freely. Come on in. Come on in, Mama Momo. Halloween's done. It's time to come on in and get yourself some turkey dressing for Thanksgiving, baby. That's
for
what I'm
once,
talking
it wasn't
about.
me who said something
It
like
would- yeah,
this.
no,
I just
that's
want to point
fine.
out it took 100
I'm down.
episodes together,
That's
but
fine.
it wasn't me.
I'm
That's
down.
good.
I'm down with it. That's I'll take all of it onto my shoulders right now. I guarantee you there is one person, there's one listener out there who's like, wait, I remember Momo. Momo with titties. Let's see what that looked like, and they'll understand. That's the person that will come to me later on and be like, TBL, I get it now. I get it.
Oh my god.
Wasn't me.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 259 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We are back once again to talk about the goings on in the Destiny universe, and we certainly have quite a few things going on. It's been a very big week. We had the Bungie vidoc going on this week, which showed off a lot of Beyond Light. Got to see a lot of narrative stuff in there, some really cool things moving forward. We had one heck of a TWAB drop, not with all the sandbox changes that we got last week, but certainly filled with a lot of economy changes and a lot of things that probably had a lot of people heaving a sigh of relief, considering you can probably delete about half of your vault now. You just don't need that stuff. Although, if you're like me and you have thousands upon thousands of tokens and turn in materials that you can turn
Just
in
turn 'em in.
to vendors and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to spend the next week and a half basically doing that. Sitting at Ashermere like, Ingram, Ingram, Ingram. But we're going to be getting into all of that. Joining us this week, we've got our usual round table of hosts. We've got Aura.
Hey, 2 in a row.
We've 2 in a row. On it, man. We're on it. I like it. keeping it going. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. Can't complain. Just shooting
Right on, man.
stuff.
The one and only
Having
Dan
fun.
Finity. How's the anarchy grind going?
74 out of 100.
Ooh, end is in sight, baby.
We had 8 drop today for folks on PlayStation 4. So it's been,
Dang.
yeah, it's been going. I got 3 more sessions to get to help folks get the last 26. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. A buddy of mine was was one of the early ones today. So I'm very excited. Just very stoked.
Do you have the rest of your runs like scheduled out? Are you going to be on like Xbox one day, PS4 another day?
Yes, I have. So PC on Tuesday. I got the clear from Jenny to go long this week on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right
So I'll be going from like 4 to midnight on Tuesday and Thursday. And then on Sunday, I'm planning on starting earlier, like closer to 10 and rolling until 5. So we'll see how many we
Right
can get.
on, man. Dude, you're almost there.
Almost
You are
there.
almost there. You're over the hill. You're over the hump.
Almost there.
Wish you luck on that. And of course, I am the Black Link. And with those introductions, let's go ahead and dive on into the crazy Destiny stuff we have to talk about this week. I think first things first, we should probably start with the video documentary that Bungie put out earlier this week. I have to say, there was a bit of confusion with that vidoc at the start of the week. Everybody thought it was going to be a live stream
Mm-hmm.
when Bungie announced it. So, like, I don't know if you guys were there, but they announced that it was going to be dropping at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is about 10 a.m. Eastern time, where I am. So, I wake up, I go do, my morning errands, a little bit of work, and like around 9:30, I'm like, okay, cool, time to head over to Twitch to start watching this. And like, there were a lot of people in Bungie's chat just sitting there waiting
Yeah.
and waiting and waiting until somebody posted, oh, they just put this live on their YouTube channel for whatever reason. So I hope at least somebody else out there had to experience that. They wasn't exactly clear that it wasn't going to be a live stream when it usually is. The Vidocs are usually part of a live stream,
Mm-hmm.
but
They posted that on Tuesday, like
yeah,
maybe like half an hour before it started. They were like, "Hey, by the way, it's going to be here on YouTube, on
yeah,
Twitter." And if you joined in early, it was just like a bunch of people going ding, 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 ding in the YouTube chat. But then, like, once it started going live, I think there was a 2-minute cooldown, and they were like, "Why didn't they build this in?" That was like the most frustrating thing that people had
yeah,
to deal with that day, I guess.
yeah. It was a little nutty, but we figured it out. I think everybody figured it out and got a chance to watch it. So what did you guys think of the Vidoc?
Aura?
Was a lot to digest.
Yeah,
There was and usually there's a lot to digest with things like this, but I felt like it was a bit more behind the curtains and a bit more revealing than we're used to seeing. I wasn't expecting to get that much of a glimpse of the story,
yeah,
especially as
Mm-hmm.
it
yeah.
pertains to a specific character that has a lot of animosity geared towards him. And then there was a bit more in the, and we'll probably touch on this a lot, but like just the way that they engineered and built everything, there was a lot going on there too. So there's a lot to cover. And I didn't get all of it. I didn't want to get all of it. Like I want some of this to be a first experience when the game is actually out.
Right.
So I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really want to watch it a bunch of times, and I didn't want to like stare at all the weapons and watch all the abilities replay over and over again. Like I want to experience it live for the first time. You know what I mean? Not
Mm-hmm.
like half experience, half knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that. I dig that. And you're right. Like it was about a 14, 15-minute video documentary, so it was pretty lengthy. And we did get to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. But it was a really, you're right, it was a really big focus on the incoming story of not only Beyond Light, but also the season of content that's going to be starting alongside that. The season of the hunt. And we'll get into all of that in a bit. I think my favorite part of it was probably just seeing the Cosmodrome because we got to
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of cool stuff there. We got to see a lot of Europa. We got to see parts of the new raid, at least the introduction section of that, which we do know now is the Deep Stone Crypt, which pretty much everybody speculated it was as soon as
Yeah.
we heard we were going to Europa. But my favorite part of it was seeing the Cosmodrome. We got a great look at a lot of the returning areas of the Cosmodrome. We got to take a sneak peek at the new NPC character, Shahan. I hate that name. I hate it so very much. Um, I feel like every day, for my Boondocks fans out there, I feel like whenever I say the new Guardian Shahan, I have to say no relation, like Uncle Ruckus in that. But we got to see how that character is going to work. He is going to be kind of a vendor and a bounty bot of sorts for new Guardians there in the Cosmodrome. But just seeing the planescapes of old Russia back in D2, it made me happy. That's the part that I probably went back and watched the most there. I love seeing the Cosmodrome. Did you guys have a favorite part of it, and what were your thoughts, Dan?
Oh man. Um. So there just was like a badass presence to it, right? I really
Yeah,
enjoyed them talking about the new weather system and how it changes
right,
dynamically.
right.
Um, the Shawhan thing, like they put to rest that's not Aldrin,
It's not
so
Aldrin.
that is most definitely not Aldrin. So that's cool. I don't know. There was a lot. There was a lot in there. Um, probably, I don't know, man. The Season of the Hunt stuff seems very interesting.
Yeah.
I had more questions arise from that because we had the Season of the Undying come along with Shadowkeep last fall, and this time we have kind of the same deal, with it being confirmed that this expansion is going to be bigger than Shadowkeep but smaller than Forsaken, understandably so. My only question is, like last fall, how are we going to distinguish between that content and this content
Yeah.
going
It feels
forward?
like there's a story tied to it that has more substance than the Undying Mind
Yeah,
coming back, or whatever the hell the
that's
name of
true.
the
Yeah.
freaking, like,
Right.
I maybe I
Right.
just really bad at paying attention in case anybody hasn't figured it out, but like this felt like there was a narrative that they gave us the introduction to, when, because there should be two diverging storylines with this. There should
Right.
be whatever's going on with the darkness, and there should be whatever's going on with the fallen, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, right? Or this what the hell are we hunting? This, right? Isn't that
We
the,
we don't know yet.
Well, the hunt, supposedly we're going to be hunting for Zivu Araths.
Yes.
so is it Hive and Fallen? Was that my take on it? And then there is the scene with the Vex, and
Yeah, we have Fallen and Vex on Europa, and then we're going to have Hive.
something to fight on the Cosmodrome.
Yeah,
Right.
we're just going to have a lot.
Right. So there should be two diverging storylines that we're following, and I can't imagine that anything that's tied to Savathun, which is what I believe
The hunt
the
is.
the hunt is, it
Yeah.
would not have some form of substance for us to grasp onto as we're moving forward. I mean, you
Mhm.
would expect a narrative that's similar to Season of the Savior. If that's
Mhm.
any, there was something there to that where we got to go and save Saint 14. So I would
Yeah.
expect the same amount of narrative to what the Season of the Hunt. Nothing major, but two diverging storylines
Mhm.
is what I would predict moving forward.
I think you're right about that. And so the story there is basically there's a hive celebrant or something like that working for Jivu Arath who's trying to
Right,
build up an army within our
right,
solar system,
right.
and they're basically converting Fallen and Cabal by dropping these artifacts down into the Cosmodrome and in other areas that are turning them insane and basically making them part of Jivu Arath's army. But
Because
Mhm.
you're
they're
right,
already sane to begin with.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Fine,
the
fine functioning, like
the
I just
Cabal
picture
were
like a
well
Vex
adjusted.
driving a
Yeah.
taxi. You know what I mean? Like a
Oh,
Cabal
excuse me,
guy
sir. Do you
working
have any
like a
Grey Poupon?
yeah, like a
Yeah.
Cabal guy working as a bouncer at a bar. Like they're the ones who are losing their minds.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Functioning
already
members
pretty
of the
well adjusted
universe.
members of society
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah.
But I like the narrative point there that you brought up. There is a clearly different narrative track going on with Season of the Hunt. Between that and the Europa story that's going on with the Deepstone Crypt, the Darkness, the Fallen, Aramis, and all of that kind of stuff. It's a bit more substantial than, oh no, the Undying Mind is back. Go run this activity for 3 weeks while we build this Vex portal and then fight one changing boss.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We got to see a couple of cutscenes from the Season of the Hunt storyline there that look like it's going to be fairly substantial. We know Osiris is coming back. We know another character is coming back that a lot of people were expecting to hear from with some of the hints that were laid bare. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the video documentary. You've got about 5 seconds to skip forward by a minute or two. Prince Uldren is returning as the Crow, the character he was known as back in Destiny 1, and it's confirmed it is going to be a complete cleaning of the slate for him. He's back, he has no idea who he is or what he
Mhm.
did, and he's going to be hanging around with Osiris, which I thought was pretty neat. He comes back as a guardian and gets picked up by the grumpy old grandpa who's going to be showing him the ropes. I like it. I think it's pretty neat, and I feel like this is going to lead to some pretty interesting story moments, since of course there's going to be the awkward encounter with you, but not just you, Petra. How is the spider going to react to seeing this dude who unleashed a horde of new enemies on the spider's turf? I think there's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of fun to be had with the Season of the Hunt story mode. I like it. I think it looks
When
pretty
do
good.
you think Osiris brings Uldren into the Infinite Forest back in time to show him what he did?
Well,
Hmm.
it lore-wise, is the Infinite Forest even still there?
Yeah,
And does he have
we don't
access
know.
to it?
We have no idea. Like, because that's one of the planets that's going away. It's going into the vault. I don't know. I don't know at all. There's some speculation because one of the clips that we get to see in the video documentary is Osiris standing with Zavala, flanked by some Cabal, and it looks
Mm-hmm.
like they're all kind of having a meeting. That had a lot of people freaked out. And Dan, you said something on Twitter earlier in the week that I think might actually have some legs.
Yeah.
You brought up the notion that maybe that isn't like Zavala and Osiris playing nice with Cabal and us actually all working together. Maybe it's Osiris showing Zavala a point in time via the Infinite Forest. And I think that's as plausible as any other
Yeah.
explanation that there could be.
Well, if that is true, I mean, if he still has access to the Infinite Forest, then what Aura said could be true. I don't know. All of it could be true.
Yeah.
I'm just sensing some timey-wimey stuff going on.
Yeah.
Because normally you wouldn't see Osiris and Zavala in the same room agreeing with one another.
Oh yeah.
And like specifically seeing the Cabal, like the Cabal seem to be standing there. I don't know if they're necessarily acknowledging Zavala or anything, but it definitely seems like they're using some tech to suss out what the pyramids are. So I don't know. It's a weird. There's going to be a lot of timey wimey stuff. I imagine.
I mean, we know the stranger is a part of this, and she's certainly got some questions to answer from narrative threads back in D1 for some of the stuff going on here in D2. Of course, so many lore things getting tied up in Europa with the Deepstone Crypt and, the references to Enceladus and whatnot. I can't wait. I can't wait to dive into the story of Beyond Light. There's so much there, and as a lore head like me, I'm excited. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see what's going to come from all of that. And I love
Before
that we've got a solid story for the season that's going to be pushing on beyond the Beyond Light story itself.
before we move into the next part, one of the most impressive things to me about the vidoc was seeing how Bungie makes some of the sound effects for the
Oh
game.
yeah.
Now, breast pump
Yeah.
aside, like someone was using like a saw on what looked like a scale,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and there was that like
Slinky
that
on a ring
ring
stick.
that was being the stick with the ring, and like just going out into being told to just go out into the world with a microphone, with an isolation mic, and just getting
Pick things
something
up.
and putting
Yeah.
it into a bank, and like my mind, because I love this kind of stuff. My mind goes to like just I wonder what their folders look like with like the billions of different sound effects and being like, this was a bird fart, you know, this was, you know, this was an earthworm digging. This was a squirrel chewing on a pumpkin. Like all
Yeah.
these goofy things that could be tied into it. And the one sound effect that kept playing in my mind was when you pick up during the corrupted strike, when you pick up the orbs that you throw at the shielded knights on the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
how it
Hmm.
sounds like a cash register.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that cha-ching that they make when you pick them up is so weird, like change dropping. Like my mind immediately went to things like that. So that was by far, like, everything about the game is amazing and cool, but like that was one of the most like really interesting parts to witness. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Could not agree more. And that's the kind of behind the scenes development thing that you really never get to see as an in-game player, as the consumer of these products. You never get to see that. And I can remember Bungie's really good at showing that kind of stuff off, like when right before Forsaken came out, when they showed that they basically took their devs out to like a gun range or to
Mm-hmm.
a bow and arrow range and had them actually play with bows and whatnot to get a feel for that, to get the sound effects for it. It's the coolest stuff that you never see. I would never have imagined that the crazy sound effects. 'Cause the sound design team in Destiny is fantastic, and to imagine that they get some of those sound effects from things as weird as breast pumps and saws on
Mm-hmm.
scales. You'd never imagine it. You'd never imagine that's where all of that comes from. I'd love to see more. I'd love to watch an entire documentary for how they figure out the sounds of Destiny. That'd be
Mm-hmm.
pretty cool to watch.
Very cool.
It's funny that you mention that you're excited to play the story, because in the TWAB this week, it sounds like you're going to have to play a lot of it if you want to rank your character up.
Boy. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, we're getting in there. All right.
Yeah. It's gonna be you're gonna have to do a little bit of work to level up rather than just hold a bunch of bounties and run to the nearest moon lost sector.
I mean,
yeah,
that could still be part of it. You don't know, like
probably.
at least for the artifact or
Probably.
whatever. But like, we don't know that for sure. I think we're supposed to get more details on bounties before the expansion drops. So I mean, they have a week
Yes.
to kind of get
1 week.
yeah. But the yeah, it sounds like a lot of the changes are. It sounds like a lot of the changes are more single player friendly, like or
Yes.
like friendly to folks who don't have a lot of people to play with. They don't have multiple characters to grind on, and so that's nice, for them.
Right.
Like I've got nothing against that. And I'm reading this TWAB this week. I welcomed a lot of the economy changes because I was like,
Oh yeah,
I've
absolutely.
got too much stuff all the time everywhere.
So let's get into it. Let's talk about let's bring some bullet points of what specifically is changing next season and what people should do to prepare and what people should expect. Because like I said, you're not going to be able to do a character, run through the story, switch to a character, move your powerful weapons over and go to a vendor and pop in tokens until you're at that gear score. That's done.
That's done.
Which is actually, I don't necessarily know if I like or not. We'll talk about why once we get the answers in, but let's talk about what specifically is going to change. Dan, take it away.
All right. Shall I start with progression changes?
Yeah, because we got information about the power cap, right?
Yeah. So progression changes. The start of any new Destiny expansion begins with a power climb as you experience the campaign and play through the story missions. After finishing that up and completing some additional quests and activities, you're usually around what we call the soft cap, and we'll need to start earning powerful rewards to continue to increase power so that you can tackle some of the more aspirational activities in the end game. After you reach the hard cap, then there is an additional 10 power you can earn through earning pinnacle rewards if you choose to hit the pinnacle cap. Here are the new power caps for you. Aiming for the next season begins on November 10th. So the soft cap will be 1200, the hard cap will be 1250, and the pinnacle cap will be 1260. When you first log in next season, all your weapons and armor will be at 1050 power or higher. And if you have anything already over 1050, it will be unchanged. Anything under will be brought up to 1050. All new players will start at 1050 as well. So
that was interesting.
The power caps. So we have what are we at right now? We're at 1060 if you're at the max.
If you're at the pinnacle.
Yeah. So we have 140 for the soft cap. Like 200 or like 190 for the hard cap and 200 for pinnacle cap. That seems like a lot of progression that can be made through the story. What are you guys' thoughts on
Considering this game throws loot at you, where after an activity you get 3 drops. Even if you didn't do the story and you went right into whatever, you'd probably be at 1200 relatively quickly.
Yeah.
The trick is probably going to be not stepping over powerful rewards if you're trying to get raid ready.
Mm-hmm.
Not accidentally doing the 3 strikes or however, because they're making changes to that too.
They're making a very good change.
Yeah. The trick is going to be to not consume your powerful drops prior to hitting your soft cap. That's going to be the trick. But I like, so this is the thing, like playing through the story should grant your player progression. In Days of Destiny past, it did, but not nearly enough to be fruitful for anybody who was going to try and raid on day one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This feels like it's going to play to that, where whether you're a solo player or whether you're trying to get ready for day one raids, you're going to have that opportunity, which I think is beneficial to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And given the fact that you're going to have a week and a half between release and the start of the raid,
11 days.
I think that's a good amount of time to give to people to get themselves up to I think they said what the max power is going to be, what, 1230 that you'll be
1230.
able to bring in for the
That's going
first
to be,
day.
yeah, anything above 1230 is not going to matter, and it's going to go gear score. So
Right.
it's if you are 1230 with your artifact enabled power,
Nothing.
you're not you're going to be below rank
You're
below
not
level for the raid.
1230.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And I think that's good. And so you mentioned here, of course, part of the grind for people when they're setting up for World First is what Aura said, figuring out when to pop those powerfuls, when to do those weekly playlist activities, and actually push forward with all of that. So I think, them having such a long period before the raid drops helps a bit with that. You're going to have at least one weekly reset before you really have to worry. But additionally, a big change that they made that they talk about in the next section with powerful rewards is really going to help out with that. And that is the fact that you can now get powerful reward drops beyond the soft cap from playing playlist activities. So if
Yeah.
you want to do something like running strikes, running Crucible, running Gambit, just if you're the kind of person who logs on to do nothing other than run strikes, you can still get powerful drops that can push you up. I think they say to the hard cap,
To the
right?
hard cap. You could
Boom!
that's the incentive. They probably saw
Yep.
like a huge hit to playlist activities, and they're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Instead of just making it pinnacle, which, it's like 3 or 4 matches of each per week, they want to keep people going, especially after they're taking a huge hunk of content out.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
this reminds me a lot of Destiny 1. This reminds
It's
me, yeah.
exactly
And
Destiny 1.
yeah.
The other thing is like maybe the playlists stay more populated by the players who enjoy those activities the most too. And
Mhm.
you're not forcing people to do activities they don't like strike players
Yeah.
having to play Crucible or Crucible players having to run strikes. Now I'm sure like 1 or 2 isn't going to make somebody be all that upset, but like
Mhm.
having to grind out, having to match the element, having to do all these things, having to jump through these
Yep.
hoops in order to get there can be annoying and take away from the player experience overall. So this is just going to allow people to do what they enjoy full time and
Yeah.
still be rewarded for it up until the
As
hard
it
cap.
should be.
Yeah.
As it should be. And for those Guardians out there who maybe started playing this franchise with Destiny 2, this is the way it used to be in D1.
Mhm.
If you were somebody who just wanted to log on to play Crucible, if you were like me, you generally only jump on Destiny now to play Crucible. You could do that. You could sit there and you could play Crucible all day and you would still get powerful drops up to the hard cap. It was when you wanted to get to the top levels of light that you would have to do stuff like Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris, or the Raid, or Nightfalls. And I think it's about time Bungie brought this back because, like Aura said, there are some people who don't want to have to play Gambit. They don't want to have to
Mhm.
go into that unless they're getting like their little 3 or 4 games of weekly nonsense done. There are
Mhm.
some people who just want to log in and play Crucible. There's a lot of players out there who just want to play PvP, and this is a great incentive for them to continue playing the content they want to play while also rewarding them for just spending time on the game.
Yeah.
Fantastic change. I think that's probably one of the biggest, most positive changes that Bungie is going to be making with Beyond Light.
Well, and the big part of that too is you're still going to be they probably are still going to have pinnacles attached to the weekly playlist activities, right? So you're probably still going
Yeah,
to have to
Yes.
play 2 or
absolutely.
3 of each thing in order to get like a bigger bump for your pinnacle. But the ability then to go, well, I've already hit all my pinnacle stuff. I'm done with this character this week. I should move on to something else. Like
Don't need to play
you
anymore.
don't like it just feeds back into, okay, I can keep progressing it by playing what I want.
Yes,
100%. Like that's
I'm
putting
down
it
with it.
putting the power back in your hands of playing how you want in Destiny. And that's I think a huge move going forward. They said for tokens and collections, Destiny is at its best when you're shooting aliens, getting loot, and becoming more powerful. That gameplay loop breaks down when the best way to increase your power can be standing in a tower handing tokens to Lord Shax. Starting next season, gear
Yeah.
received from collections and turning in tokens will have a lower power than in previous seasons. Gear earned through token purchases will be 20 powers below your power level, and collection buybacks will be capped at 1050 power.
Get
This
rid
is
of those
fine.
tokens now.
This is fine. You get, I mean, I don't know if getting rid of them now is
Well,
the
there will be
best.
new roles for things, so
There'll
yeah.
be new
Yeah.
roles for things, and there's current weapons that will be this season that you're getting at the end of the season that will be sunset within a year of,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So like my thing is they're probably going to be desirable weapons that are going to drop from one of the vendors, whether it's the gunsmith, Shack. So I can't
Yes.
confirm, but like I'm still looking for a good Olathe to replace Erentil
Mhm.
come next season because Erentil is getting sunset. The Long Shadow still might have some value to it. So, and if you get it next season, then it's good for a year after that, I believe. So I think there's value in holding on to the main tokens, just for those of you out there who like to try and get the weapon or and the role that you're looking for. Obviously, it's not going to help with your power level, and the reason why I think it's a little bad is I don't like running stories 3 times.
Mhm.
I never have, and I never will. In a situation where I have to do it 3 times in a row so that I am ready to run the raid come day 1 raid time. Now, if I wasn't going to do it, it probably wouldn't matter, and I might let a few weeks or a month go by before I go and revisit on
Mhm.
another character because there is some nostalgia at that point. But
Right.
I just I hope that if you run the story once on your characters, you gain access to the raid on all 3.
Yeah.
Is what I would hope. I would hope that
I
it
would
wouldn't be
hope so
tied
too. Yeah.
to one completion on each character,
What do you think
or
the odds
maybe
are,
not
though?
even tied to it at all. Who knows?
What do you think the
But
odds are, though, that they make it character instead
I
of
don't know.
count?
That'd be a question for DMG and Cosmo at this point.
Yeah.
It's again. I just feel like first time through everything really cool. Second time through everything, all right. Maybe I picked up on some things I missed. Third time through, it's like, all right, dude.
Busy work.
Yeah, like come on, like let's just I can just roll through Gambit or a Crucible and get my character where I need to be without having to go through all these things. But as we've seen with Forges in the past, how that can brutalize
Ooh.
an experience through content.
Yeah. Yeah, those
That'd be
used to
my
be
concern with this. I think a lot of it's really good, but that'd be the one thing that I'm like, ooh, maybe not.
right, because you know sometimes when we get these campaigns, these last couple of ones haven't really been that long. I think Forsaken was maybe about 4 or 5 hours worth of content, but like I can remember back at the start of D2, and it's like the main campaign was like 8 hours, and you had to do that on all your characters to
With
get
Yeah.
no way of
access.
speed running it because you had dual primary.
A dual
Like there was
primary,
like you're out there
gross,
pulse rifling down a boss. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, at least
wasn't
at this
good.
point, we probably have ways to melt and burn through things a little bit
Mhm.
faster, and our characters are actually faster in and of themselves.
Oh man.
So, but even still, like all that into consideration, most of these things are probably going to be at some form of power level where we are at or above where we're at. So we're also not going to carve through. I don't believe we'd be carving through enemies as rapidly. You know,
Probably
we'll
not.
see. And the other thing is like, is this going to be a campaign where we can just run past all the enemies? You know what I mean? Just run past everything and get to the door where you got to scan and defend it. You know what I mean? Wait till we got to
D1
stand in the
strats.
circle to defuse it. Like just you run past everything, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of those missions are long. Like going back and doing the Forsaken missions, like there weren't
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
them, but they were lengthy missions.
That first Forsaken mission where you're going, not the first one, but the one where you first hit the Tangled Shore. That one is a long story mission, and didn't look forward to having to do that, 2 more times after finishing it on my first character. So I think you think you've got a point with that. Hopefully the raid unlocks for account wide once you finish
Mhm.
the story on one character, and then doesn't get locked down for that because that'd be pretty bad. But otherwise, I think these progression changes are pretty darn good. I'm okay with the token thing because I can just go play Crucible now and
Yeah.
get to hard cap. I'm okay with whatever token change you want to make. I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
The thing they could do is add value to the vendors by giving them weapons that are desirable. I mean, I don't know if we're getting a refresh or not, but Steel Sibyl's not really doing it for anybody at the
Yeah.
moment. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And Toil and Trouble is really not a sought after shotgun. So like
Yep.
only the gunsmith has really ever had stuff that people really want.
I think if Nim were here, he would be standing and applauding you right now because, good lord, do these vendors need a refresh? And as we get ready to move on into some of these coming economy changes, I want to make note of something. Your faction tokens are going away because Bungie has no idea what to do with the
They're not bringing
factions,
them
and
back.
they're not bringing them back. And like those were worthwhile vendors. And I've talked a bit these last couple of weeks about going back and playing some D1. I've been going back and playing a lot of D1 on stream, doing old raids and stuff like that. And I go and I look at the faction system in that game, and those vendors that had desirable weapons that changed on a frequent basis. Basically, every time we got a major content release, those vendors got new weapons and armor. And the faction vendors in particular, just going back through the future war cults nonsense weaponry list, the wormwood, the warpath, all this kind of great gear that was worth your time. And it just makes me sit back and say, why have many of these vendors not really gotten a refresh?
Because they put a vendor on every planet.
Yeah.
We didn't have vendors on any of the planets in D1, right? There was
That's
no.
true. No, it was just the tower, the reef, and that might have been it.
With Shax, there was Shax and there was the Crucible Quartermaster in the tower, right? They were across the hall from each other.
You had all three of the Vanguard had their own specific gear, for hunters, titans, and warlocks. For the Vanguard,
the Traveler had some stuff, or not the Traveler. The Speaker had some.
He had
things
class
here and there.
items. Yeah, he had class items. You had all three of the faction vendors. They had their own stuff that refreshed every major content release. And the gunsmith.
Yeah.
And then it was just, Trials of Osiris and the stuff you could get from Petra and from Varix.
Well, you could also get sparrows. Yeah, like
Amanda Holiday was there, and
and that was it. You had
Paladin would show up every here now and again. I think maybe
once a month.
So like, there's more vendors in D2 by almost maybe like double cost, possibly even triple. Because every planet gets one. So we got the moon, and then we got Eris and whatever the altar on the moon. And so I think there's just too many things to service, and there's just not enough weapons and not enough resources to make all of them.
Yeah.
And so with a lot of that going away, you wonder if that opens up the door for maybe in a season in the future that we see some of these things change.
I hope so, because a lot of these planets are disappearing.
Yeah.
These vendors are going away.
I was talking about this today. I was doing IAB Labs with Robotic Addy and Smo, and I was like, nobody batted an eye at the fact that Bungie is basically Thanos. Like the line that Thanos says when he's like, this universe is finite, its resources finite. If life remains unchecked, life will cease to exist. And it's like Bungie's like, we can't fit anything else in this game without taking stuff away. So
there it goes.
And half the universe goes away, and nobody batted an eye. Like Bungie Thanos snapped Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully that makes some room for some worthwhile resets when it comes to certain vendors, and when it comes to factions. I will never stop saying they didn't need to reinvent the wheel there. Factions worked fine. It was a perfect system in D1. I don't know why they changed it up with faction rallies in D2. But I miss it. I miss them. I miss my new monarchy stuff. They were the best.
Yeah. I don't know. Like with them, they also were some of the more expensive voice actors too. So it wouldn't surprise me if they got cut for budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Lakshmi, the voice actress for her is on The Expanse. I don't know, like
they don't have to maintain the same voice actors, actresses. Like
well, for Lakshmi, you kind of do because like she has that like weird growl.
So does Iraq Jalal. He has a very, very particular voice.
But with,
so did our ghost.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well,
it's very true.
Gone.
So
very few remember the Dinkle.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see some of that come back into play in the future. It's been gone so long, I haven't missed it.
Yeah.
You know, so I forgot those tokens existed for anybody who's still holding on to them. Like I can't even
can't get rid of them.
And I'm a hoarder and I don't have them. So it's like
it would be cool lore wise if you were able to say, like, if you were able to grab the sorry about that, guys. The something from the factions and then go forth and be able to grab the and then get like some missives or something for like a lore book.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I mean,
But then people who don't have them would freak out.
Right.
Good. I mean,
I don't know. They're taking away the spicy ramen noodle receipt or something.
Rest in
The
peace.
The Cade memory,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The useless ramen ticket that everybody freaked out over for a while, trying to figure out what does it do? Is it gonna be like the Ascendant raisins?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're
going
taking away
away.
this stuff. Was there any mention about the fizzled Eververse bounties? Because I still have 200 something of those.
Me too. Yeah, you're right. Those Eververse ticket things that you needed to get the bounties.
Yeah.
I still have 200 of those.
Well, what do you say we dive on into the economy changes and find out what exactly is going to be disappearing?
I don't think they mentioned them. Go ahead, Dan. Take it away.
All right. Sounds good. Sorry, I had to do some last minute adjustments there. Craig decided to leave.
He died.
Craig died. Craig died. For those of you who don't know, Craig, he's dead now. Economy changes. Some currencies and items have changes coming either at the end of the seasons or in the near future. Here is what to expect when you log in next season. Materials with no home. With several destinations going into the Destiny content vault, many of you have been wondering what is going to happen with the currencies found in the areas currently underneath the pyramids. The simple answer is that there are no changes to these currencies in Season of the Hunt, and you will be able to continue to spend them at vendors normally. Starting in Season 13, phase glass needles, alkane dust, simulation seeds, and seraphite will no longer be accepted by vendors. For those of you that still have an unspent stockpiles at the end of the Season of the Hunt, Spider will be kind enough to offer some small glimmer exchange to take them off your hands, but you'll realize the best value by spending them before that point, so make sure you turn in your stockpiles before the end of the season. There are other items that will be removed from your inventory at the end of the Season of Arrivals. Some, like faction tokens, have not had any purpose for quite a while, and others, like the expired ramen coupons, never really had a purpose but held some sentimental value. We know that it might be hard to part with those, but it's time to let go.
No mention
Boy.
of the fizzled Eververse bounties.
No mention of the fizzled Eververse. Somebody should ask Dylan that on Twitter and see if
Every question I
Yeah,
ask him, he doesn't answer me. I'm
Same.
I'm offended.
you should get Nim to ask it.
Yeah, Nim will ask it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, get Nim to ask it. Since he popped up here anyway.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
This guy.
That makes the stream look pretty interesting. There it is.
I'm working on
cool.
it, guys. I am working on it.
Hey,
He broke everything.
Good morning, Nem.
So don't take a shower and go to bed because
Good
it.
morning, buddy.
Hi, Aura.
Don't take a shower and go to bed.
Yeah,
morning.
because you get
Good morning.
too comfortable.
You want me to make you
Yes.
some oatmeal? Do you want some cereal? Some waffles?
Bro, some apple cinnamon oatmeal would be great right now.
You get nothing.
Oh.
toxic.
You'll
How
get
dare
nothing and
you
like
get my spirits up.
We're glad you enjoyed your nap
Yeah.
there, buddy.
Welcome in. We're just talking about the economy and the things that are going away, sir.
So first of all, sorry for rudely disrupting your conversation. Second of all, thank you.
Love you, buddy.
Absolutely.
So Nem, we need you to ask Dylan why fizzled Eververse bounties are not being removed.
Let me talk to you about fizzled Eververse bounties real quick.
Oh,
Okay.
you got something to say?
Because I was going through my
Hand-deleted 200 of
inventory.
them?
I hand deleted like 600 of them on
No. Why?
Mm.
because they were taking up space and I wanted
Did you
bright dust.
get a macro? Did you like leave one of those like beak birds on the button for delete?
You know,
I refuse.
in hindsight, I wish I would have made a macro for it, Aura. But
Did you hire the neighbor kid to come in and hold the button down?
It's like
I-
15 bucks.
I sat down here for about like 40 minutes to like an hour just watching Hulu on one screen and deleting 600
I feel like my
fizzle
hands
whatever
would
his
hurt
bounty's
after doing
worth.
that.
On the bright side, I walked out with about 3,000 bright dust.
Okay.
Wait, you get bright dust out of them?
Yes. You get
Well,
like 5. You
Yeah,
get
we
like
gotta
5 of
open up
them.
this Destiny while we're doing the podcast.
dang, hold square. Yeah.
I sat here, just eyes focused on one screen, holding the button, letting go, holding the button for about like
Yeah.
600 times.
Mm.
It sucked, and I feel that pain, but
And see, that's what I'm worried about because there's a lot of resources like that that are being deprecated here that I'm gonna have to go through over the next couple of weeks. I've got thousands of every planetary resource. So I'm gonna have to go and turn all those in because I'd rather have the legendary shards than the glimmer that the spider is going to be giving for them when all of this goes into effect. But I don't want to sit there for 2 hours holding a key to slowly delete these things.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
I don't blame you. It was annoying.
Yeah.
I might
It
turn in
also-
like a good chunk of them for like the upgrade modules, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, so like, are you gonna take them to the vendors, or are you gonna go to the gunsmith and just buy upgrade materials? I feel like
Upgrade
rather have
materials
If I
probably
wanna
materials
keep-
than
get you a bit
if
more.
I personally want to keep the gear that I've kind of been farming out this season because stat wise it's great because it's what I wanted to go into Beyond Light with. So I'm gonna need a lot of upgrade modules if I
Mhm.
want to keep it going.
That's always a good idea before we have a major content release.
I don't plan on infusing a single thing until it's raid day.
Yeah.
Like if I end up with triple shotgun as my
Mhm.
loadout, like so be it. Like if that's the highest power level gear I have running a strike, I'll make it work, you know? Especially with the ammo finders
Power
and
move.
finishers at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make it work. I've been using 2 special weapons all season at this point with Mountaintop and Ruinous Effigy anyway. So
So okay, so
Yes,
since we're on the notion of useless economic items in our vaults and inventories, if everybody has the opportunity, I want to hear what is the most obscure and worthless item in your vault right now.
Oh, let me bring up Dim real quick.
Mhm.
I've been
'Cause,
just
I
been
mean-
looking at this.
there's all
I-
this
I-
crap that I have and don't even know what it does, like phantasmal cores and hymn
Yeah,
of desecrations and
You'll still be able to
I
use
know what
those.
alternate element
that's
is.
moon
but, like,
stuff.
Yeah, that's moon
I have
stuff.
I have a callus token. I don't know what that's from.
I have a Ludapalooza key I never used.
You actually got one of those things? I've never even seen it drop.
Yep. You want
I
to
had
come
a
hang
dance
out with me in
party
the
key.
tower while I use it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As
Our
far as-
modulus report's going to get removed too. Is Ada
Yeah.
going to be?
Yeah,
vaulted?
Ada's out.
'cause Ada's going away.
I don't know
because
about
those are great weapons.
obscure, but I the most useless thing that I have in my vault is like about 100 and something weapon telemetries that are just the most worthless
I don't even know what they do.
item.
Just
They
turn
give
into
you
gunsmith for
like 5 or 10 points of rep in the gunsmith. Like
Yeah.
they're literally worthless.
Yeah.
It's a worthless item.
all my synths for Gambit Prime are going to get taken away, right?
I hope so.
I would count that as a blessing.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Well, they
nonsense.
finally stack, so I don't have like 80 stacks of Invader synths because I used Golden Gun once.
Mm.
Yeah, it's about it. I'm pretty. I go through and clear things out pretty often.
I sat down and I cleared like a lot of the useless stuff. Like I got rid of all of the armor. My vault went from about like 430-ish to down to like 230 something.
Mm-hmm. That's where
So I
I'm
got rid of a
floating.
lot of, and
That's
it
one good thing about this.
put me at like max enhancement prisms
Mm-hmm.
with an extra stack of 24 in the postmasters. So I'm honestly
bad.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the rest of like the useless stuff to get out. The one that hurts though, the one that hurts the most, the faction tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we were just talking about
Yeah.
that.
Why does that hurt?
Yeah.
because it's just confirmation that like they're
They
they're
gave
just
up.
gone.
They
Yeah.
gave
They're
up.
done.
Bungie gave up.
Why are you searching for confirmation like 6 years after they ever mattered? To begin
We
with?
There was hope, Aura.
if there's people hoping for SRL, let me hope for factions.
No,
Okay.
I got nothing on that
There's
comment,
no hope
dude.
for
That's fair.
You win.
That's fair. That's
You win, them. You absolutely win that argument.
Where's the gavel? Case
Yeah,
closed.
exactly.
I still have Boon of the Dawning. I have 4 Boons of the Dawning.
Okay.
What the hell
Okay.
is a Boon of the
Oh
Dawn?
man.
It was.
It's
I don't
a
remember.
Boon of the Dawning. That's it.
Is
It's
that
like
from Season of Dawn?
yeah, when you get this during a strike or crucible match, all the players received a gift at the end of the activity. Turns out I was
Christmas
stingy.
thing.
I
You
still
never
have
gave
4.
me a
Dang.
gift, man.
Wow.
I gave nobody
An
a
actual
gift.
brim.
Dan wasn't Santa Claus. He was Krampus.
Yeah,
He was handing
I hate
out
that
beatings
sparrow.
and L's.
I hate that sparrow so much.
Does
You know
Dim
you
tell
love
you
it.
the oldest item in your vault?
I don't think so.
Nah,
I think Dim organizes it by like category. So like I don't know if it would show you what was in there the longest.
yeah.
But I might have everyone beat when it comes to weird, obscure, old, useless item in their vault.
Oh, what do you got?
I have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 notes from Cade. Do you guys remember what those were?
You didn't turn those in?
I never turned those in. Those back in year 1 of D2, for those of you who might have forgotten, you could go and get like these treasure maps from Cade that would show you where a hidden cache was
Mhm.
across
Oh, yeah.
across the EDZ. I have 5 of those in my vault that I never cleared out. Who do I go to now? There's no Cade.
Cade's dead, dog.
He's gone. I keep trying to get the colonel to show me what these mean, but he just clucks at me
pecking
and
at him.
leaves. Yeah.
Does this count? I have the original EDZ shell.
Me too.
Okay.
I still
Not
got
from
that.
collections, just like the original, the first time you get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Obscure things. So I wonder if that's gonna disappear too, because
I don't know, man.
those
Probably
are
will.
worthless. I hope so.
They're not listed.
Yeah, it's not. There's a lot of stuff that's not listed there, for things that are gonna be going away. But Bungie made damn sure to tell you your expired ramen coupons are gone.
Yeah.
You can keep
Mhm.
you can keep those fizzled Eververse bounties, but they'll take that ramen coupon.
Yeah.
Rude. Absolutely
you-
rude, Bungie.
I'm not sure if you guys follow Sonic71 over on Twitter, but he is he's a Bungie guy. He's a Bungie dev.
Yep.
He did you guys talk about the post that one of the old Bungie people talked about the ramen coupon?
No.
No, what happened?
So there was actually a little bit of a history with the ramen coupon that there was supposed to be something a little bit more onto it. So I'm gonna read the
Really?
post. Yeah, because it's 2 screenshots. So I'm gonna read the whole thing.
That makes
So this
sense,
is-
actually.
This is from Jonathan Chan, saying, "Saw the removing the ramen coupon from the game along with other unused items. Sad, but I understand the cleanup. Thought I'd drop some trivia on it. 1. At the time when I wrote the lore tab, there was a lot of anti-immigrant and anti-Mexico rhetoric in the US, and I purposefully added muy caliente at the time, and I believe it was the only in-universe character use of Spanish. 2. I believe it's the only reference to pork in Destiny, as Cade also wonders where they got the meat from.
Pulled pork.
Yeah. 3, it's supposed to be read like a Yelp review. 4, the ticket being expired has significance. Cade says he's good for it, but he'll never be good for it at the time, because when you get the coupon, he's already dead.
Yeah.
5, he foreshadows himself not returning by saying Cade 6, not 7. The whole being able to get multiple per characters is a bug. And the last one, I had planned to do more with the coupon the following season. At the time, the players were also asking for the Cade scavenger hunt items to be added back in, so I wanted to tie them together and didn't get a chance to do more design work after that."
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. That makes sense because it felt like there was supposed to be something more there tied in with those random
Definitely.
coupons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it felt like it had no substance.
Yeah.
I was like, what is
It was
this?
What? Huh?
Yeah.
We can go to this weird or ramen shop and get this ticket. Yeah, it felt like there was supposed to be something more there. So wow, so now we know. That's pretty neat. I hadn't heard about
That's
that.
really
Man.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's nice to know those little tidbits of like information that almost like nobody would know if like the developers wouldn't share, and
Yeah.
especially since these kind of things are going away.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. On top of that, so bounties. So back in late April, we shared some plans on how to tackle the problem of bounty fatigue. We have made some shifts to seasonal bounties and reduced their importance on earning seasonal currency and seasonal progress. We're happy with these changes, but still want to continue to improve the bounty system overall. One of the plans we previewed was to eventually replace weekly bounties with a new mechanism to provide players with a set of non-expiring and account-scoped objectives each week that will grant lots of season rank progress. We're still working on that system, and we'll share more on it before its targeted release in season 13. So we'll have that sometime after the season of the hunt, not this coming season.
Gotcha.
Bounties have always been a big topic of conversation with how to power level your character. And honestly, I hope Bungie doesn't destroy their efficiency when it comes to EXP.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to be able to get a good amount of EXP by playing Crucible or playing Strikes or actually completing content in the game. For people out there who want to run bounties, I think that's fun. I think that's perfect. It should be a good optimized way to get things. I don't think the solution is to destroy the EXP that you're getting from completing those. I think the better option there is to just make it so that you get more EXP for completing other activities. It still doesn't make any sense to me that you barely get any EXP for completing raids.
I
Yeah,
was
It
about to
doesn't make
say
any sense.
I was about to say the same thing. Like, how is it that we have an experience system that is not tied into actually playing the
In
like
game?
the game,
The
the end game
yeah.
Not
stuff?
tied into
Yeah,
experience.
Yeah, not at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I hope that's what sees a major change
Mm-hmm.
moving forward.
We also there's talking about a new mechanism for
Yeah.
account based. So two
hmm
things come to mind. One, Anthem kind of does this already. I went back and played that one day
Oh,
when I had to do
wow.
a Zoom meeting for work.
One
That was
of us. One
so
of us.
I finished the storyline out and like noticed like
Ooh,
how the
I'm
progression was.
sorry.
We're not even gonna go there. But I finished the storyline out and noticed the progression that I was getting, like just kind of like by doing stuff, right?
Yes.
That was in the tower or whatever there. Also, this kind of calls back to mind some of the planetary objectives that you would get once you would land in a place.
Yeah.
Right at the start of Destiny 2. It was a system that people didn't like, and that's why we got bounties. But I think I don't know. I kind of liked that system. I'm not like
Yeah.
throw your rocks at me all you will. But I thought it was at least unique, and you're at least not having to go back to the tower and pick up stuff all the time in order to go other places. I don't know if maybe people felt like they weren't going back to the tower enough and they didn't feel connected to it or what.
Hey,
But
remember when Destiny 2 launched with the challenges systems that bounties were tied into the planets as you went into them, technically
yeah,
speaking?
that's what I'm talking about. Like that was
Like, that was fine.
yeah, that was
That-
fine. It's
I
just
had absolutely no problem with that.
yeah, the issue was I think that you couldn't pick up more of them, and
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what people like, and that's what gated people
Lot of back and
experience
forth.
wise
Yeah.
for progressing through, and so that's when the bounties became a thing again. That's when bounties became an issue.
Was it story mode launch where you couldn't play the narrative all the way through and you had to go back and gain XP
Yeah.
to do
Yep.
Yeah,
go do
and
it
that's
again.
why
You-
bounties
you
High
get
enough
to-
level.
yeah.
And
You
then they
were
fixed that
locked
with
to
Shadow Keep, right? They didn't they allowed you to play all the way through with Shadow. I don't think there was enough in Curse of Osiris and Warmind to prevent you from playing through it. So when
I think it was
Yeah.
just vanilla.
Yeah, it was just
but
vanilla.
that
I
was
think.
the system that carried over from Destiny 1. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
even in those doing that story mission, you had to be like you had to gain 2 levels per mission. It's like you you're never going to gain that much power. So you got to go and do
Yeah.
something else to
Had
get
to
to
go
that
do
point.
bounties.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That I was not a fan of in D1, where you were level locked from the story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'm using the word story very
Yeah.
loosely, but
I think playing the story should get you enough experience to continue playing the story. And I think Shadowkeep had a really interesting way of handling it. Rather than it being light level or locked or level locked or anything like that, it was armor locked. You had to get the full like Dreambane armor set in order to do like the last story mission for Shadowkeep
right,
and
yeah,
all of that kind of stuff. But
that's
yeah,
true.
you should be if for story, the only lock there should be completing the previous story mission. I think playing through the story mission should be more than enough to get you to the next sequential story mission, rather than having to stop, because oh well, I didn't get enough EXP on that mission where I only had to kill 2 hive. I got to go pick up 10 bounties from the tower and
How do
run
I
back
hit
and
S
forth.
rank on that mission?
Yeah. Oh, we playing some Metal Gear now?
Oh,
I
but yeah. So we'll be hearing
think it's
about
better.
bounties and how they change before the end of
Right.
next season.
Right.
It's not going to be this week. I think I said earlier in the show, inconsistently, that it would be next week or something.
Yeah.
But moving on, it looks like the season pass is going to have a little bit of a change. Not much of a change. The season pass, you've come to know since Shadowkeep is largely staying the same. There will be new weapons and armor to earn off both the free track and the own path. One big change we are making is adding Bright Dust to the seasonal pass, which is kind of huge. Season pass free path will now have 7,500 Bright Dust. The season pass owned path will now offer 3,000 Bright Dust, and weekly bounties will now offer 100 Bright Dust. So you're looking at, if you own the season pass, then you have a chance at 10,500 Bright Dust, plus whatever you get per weekly with the 100 Bright Dust. How do you guys feel about that change?
Virtually unaffected.
Yeah, that's why it's a great idea for me. It doesn't change anything at all for me.
Nem, what about you?
Largely indifferent, really.
Mhm.
The only concern that I would have is just that like it has a definite stop, and I believe you should continue to earn Bright Dust as you level up, even if it's just like 100 Bright Dust
Yeah.
every like 2 ranks.
Every 5
after you
ranks or
hit
something like that? Like that's part of the 5
after you
rank?
hit like like after you hit like the cap of the level 100 like level up or whatever, like it should still reward you some more, again, even if it's not a lot, because you want people to keep playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now with like I can't remember exactly if I read this correctly, but the new Bright Engrams is gonna have stuff from like season 1 to season 9, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's a lot of
yeah.
that's a lot of stuff, right?
Mhm.
And you don't get Bright Dust anymore by like dismantling that.
Right.
So it's are they limiting like the Bright Dust per bounties?
So,
I'm not sure
and
if
that's the thing, is
that's
that
changed.
weekly bounties will now reward 100 Bright Dust, when normally I think they'd reward like somewhere between like 4 and 5, something like that, where and the individual like bounties that you would grab off of each vendor would then give you like maybe 50 Bright Dust, but you could at least keep grabbing them over and over and over again and kind of
Yeah.
farming that economy. It
Right.
just depends
And
on if you interact with that.
Yeah.
They were 200 each weekly. Excuse me. So
Okay.
Either way, I think it's a good idea. I think providing more avenues for people to get access to Bright Dust is a good idea. I think Nim's idea of getting it more naturally by just playing the game would be a better idea, or maybe
Just keep it going. Like
It is
you don't
going,
they don't have to hand out like 300 Bright Dust. Like at least just 100.
yeah.
Just let players naturally like
pepper it in.
accumulate it a little bit over time. Yeah.
10,500 Bright Dust is granting Bright Dust by playing the game, Like,
Right,
True.
but being capped.
Well, and how much
10,000
is
an
the
awful lot. Like, what are we...
how much is are the seasonal sets that we had with this
They're
last?
usually they're usually about like 6,000.
Usually about 6,000. Okay,
So it's
And-
enough to buy the seasonal set.
with Bright Dust.
One
Bright Dust,
seasonal set.
One seasonal, yeah.
seasonal set.
So you'd have to kind of pick it,
Yeah.
but and on top of that, you're still going to be earning them from weeklies. They didn't say whether they'd be getting rid of those vendor bounties that you can keep farming over and over and over again. So I think people would be more upset about that in the long run. I don't know.
Either way, I think giving more access to Bright Dust to people, I think is fine. That's good. It's a good incentive to complete the free path on the season pass for those people who don't make it all the way to rank 100. And I think it's a good incentive for the people, or a good extra reward for the people who purchased the season path
Mm-hmm.
and get the paid track there. I'll take it.
Next up, we have changes with Spider. Spider is going through some changes in Beyond Light, though a notoriously savvy black market dealer. Our favorite four-armed friend has been largely the same for quite some time now. But the impending journey to Europa has finally given him a reason to tune up the materials exchange and make two key changes. First, Spider will no longer be selling legendary shards. This exchange was removed mainly because it was not seeing enough use.
Really?
Yeah. So in place of the legendary shard exchange, Spider is now selling enhancement prisms. These highly valued items come at a cost 400 legendary shards per prism, and he's stingy with them, so you can only purchase 3 a week.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Second, we have taken another look at how enhancement core exchange works and made some changes. I like this change quite a bit. The ascending cost mechanism has been removed, and in its place, Spider will now sell you 5 enhancement cores a day for a fixed price of 30 legendary shards each. While this does limit the number of cores you can acquire from him each day, we feel a consistent price is clear experience with less chance to accidentally spend large quantities of legendary shards. I think they go back in and they say, in the old purchase model, you pay 310 legendary shards for 5 enhancement cores, and with the new model, you'd be out 15 or 150 legendary shards.
Right.
Okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting enough change.
I have
Enhancement cores you can-
27,000 legendary shards.
What's
right
that?
now. I said I have 27,000 legendary shards right now. I have
Bro, share.
1,300 enhancement cores.
This man is stacked.
I
Yeah.
have
Prepared.
stacks of 50 enhancement prisms on all 3 characters.
Bro, this fucking
And
guy.
I think I have like 25 ascendant shards.
Oh, yo, hand over them golf balls. I got
Please.
one.
That's more than me. It's
Well,
way more than me.
again, like all of my enhancement cores, every single one of them has come from deleting stuff.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
never bought them.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes back to the fact that this game throws loot at you. Plus, there's other things too, like finest matter weaves, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
are involved
Yeah.
in that.
Mhm.
There's other mechanisms in place.
Wait, what
So,
does that
like,
do again?
It
I think
makes
that
it so
grants
that
an enhancement core on the next
Yeah.
boss kill or something.
whenever you beat an elite or higher,
It
So
takes
it's good.
15
comes-
seconds to
Just
Put on a
comes
new
to
one.
show you. Just comes to show you. I have like 165 of those just chilling.
Oh, I don't
There
even
needs-
know. Where
Yeah.
are they?
there needs to be a better way to use those, because having to sit back and be like, all right, I just got my drop. All right, activate another one.
I have 301
Got a
of
drop.
them.
Activate another one. I
I've
wish you
never
could
used
kind
one.
of just if you could set those to automatically refresh themselves, that would be
Or-
fantastic.
hear me out here, and I've had this idea for a while. You tie them to emotes. So
Okay.
by emoting, you use one. And that's like,
I'd take that. That'd be fun.
yeah. Now you could customize it.
Anything.
You could add it to the one that you want, but it would utilize it. Say you're feeding pigeons, and all of a sudden you pop a finest matter weave.
There we go.
Like, what
Anything
do you-
to make activating it faster.
I mean, I guess you're either not playing that much or you're hoarding stuff. Like the game, I've gotten so much loot that I have to delete things to
Yeah.
get these legendary shards, and I don't even know what you can spend them on. Like, what do you spend legendary shards on?
Everything. Everything generally has a cost for it, like up to a certain value.
Masterworking
Yeah,
a piece of equipment, is that
it's part of that. Yes.
how many of you how many of you out there literally masterworked everything you have?
I hardly masterwork stuff.
I've got like maybe one masterworked armor set. That's it.
When I was working toward doing a solo
But
flawless,
that's the golf balls. We're talking about
prophecy.
weapons. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, weapons?
Oh,
Yeah.
I masterwork
Okay.
a lot of weapons.
Weapons,
Really?
yeah, I do the
there's
same.
your problem.
I'm
mean,
with
like
Laura. I don't masterwork a
5
lot of
weapons I
weapons.
masterworked. One of them was a
Yeah.
reload masterwork on that damn air until, which is useless.
I do a
think
lot.
the
Oh, go ahead.
I don't masterwork a lot of weapons. I think the only weapons that I have masterworked, looking at my my vault right now, outside of exotics, of course, and pinnacles, which come masterworked, are 2 Ostringers and a oh, and the 7th Seraph sidearm.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
pretty
God.
much it. That's
I've-
pretty much it.
See,
Bro.
I masterwork all of just about all of my weapons just because they drop orbs, and with certain builds and certain mods that you have, if you're picking those up, then you're creating then you get a buff to your damage by picking up
Yeah.
orbs.
That's
So,
recent though.
right, but
You're
that's
talking
within the
about
last
taking
year.
charge, right? Isn't that the
Yeah.
taking charge is picking up an orb and
Yeah, that's
get-
within the last year, but at the same time, that's still a boon to anybody that I play with as well, because they're also able to grab those orbs. So
see exotics don't count because their masterwork doesn't cost anything. It's
Right.
an action.
mm-hmm.
Got plenty of those.
And some weapons that I see that I'm looking at, like Fellwinter's comes masterwork.
Basically, any of the
all your
pinnacle
pinnacle
stuff comes with
weapons come.
masterwork.
Yeah, so I see like a last hope, which probably dropped like that. My Callus mini tool, which is my like beloved PvE weapon.
And at least now we know you'll have more than enough materials to masterwork another Mida mini tool immediately.
And I'll have all the materials I need to farm it if it's in a loot pool.
Yeah,
So you're good. You're good on that front.
he's not masterworking anything. Don't let him lie to you.
It has to be a special weapon for me to say this is what I'm devoted to using, because I don't really fluctuate builds that much. I'll have a really good solar, a really good void, a really good arc weapon for going into a Grandmaster Nightfall with match game, and like that's it, dude. Like after that,
Feel that.
there's like I just don't see value in adding like range to a sniper rifle. You know what I mean? Or reload when I have the perks I can put on my armor, so that may
Isn't
not have
range
as much
tied
value
to
it.
like aim assist on sniper rifles?
That's the sandbox change that they're making
Yeah.
from last week. We covered the revoker's not going to be a revoker, and a lot of people are going to suck at sniping and not know why.
You're either gonna wait. What happened? You were never good.
Well, it depends how the what's the new one called? The beloved but not beloved.
Oh yeah,
Adored.
beloved with a scarf.
Oh,
the
yeah.
fancier
Yeah.
beloved.
Isn't that
The
a 90
adored.
though? I don't think it's
don't-
going to be a 72. I don't think.
Either way, yeah, we
Part
don't.
of
I don't know if we know what type of zoom that is going to be on that, because it's the way aim assist is going to be changing. It's going to be tied to the zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? We'll see.
It zooms as far as that scarf rolls out.
But you know, like a lot of people in, I don't know, maybe this is just the perception that I've gotten because of like where I am in the community, but I feel like a lot of the people that are complaining about the sunsetting stuff, and like retiring weapons and stuff like that, it's like primarily like you're going to be playing. It's like 6 days out of the week, you're going to be in a regular ass Crucible playlist. Like all of those weapons are still going to be there. They're not going anywhere. You can't use them in like a strike, because I'm sure like the power level is going to be adjusted with that.
Yeah.
Sure, but like it's like okay, wow, you can't use it in a strike. You can't use it in Iron Banner and Trials and a raid. But like, how much of the population is actively doing a lot of that stuff currently?
Well, remember, a lot more people will be doing it because those playlist activities are going to be sources of powerful drops now with Beyond Light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not clear my vault of stuff. I still think it's going to be fun to use ancient weapons in regular
Absolutely.
activities, and I still think that in terms of legendary hand cannons, I think the old fashioned and the Austringer are going to be two
Outstringer is gonna be
dominant
crispy.
weapons
Top tier.
in comp where there's no power level enabled, so you can still use whatever
Right,
weapons you want.
exactly.
So like if you're out there clearing out your vault, you're doing it for almost no reason.
I
you
cleared
have
my
400
armor. I still
slots.
have a lot of my weapons left over, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting changes on the pipeline.
Yep. Let's see. We have a couple more bits
Speed
here.
on through.
Yeah. So going to go fast. Finally, we've been seeing a few people wondering if we'll be able to equip the Ghost mod Speed Demon with other mods like Guiding Light in the new system. And we have some good
Nice.
news for you. You won't need to.
Yes.
Starting in
Thank
Beyond Light,
you.
all sparrows, both legendary and exotic, will innately summon instantly, even without the Transmot Preloader perk. As a result, there is no need for a Ghost mod to impact this functionality, so Speed Demon was not carried forward in that new system. I forgot we're getting Ghost 2.0 with
Yeah,
this.
we are.
If you're already driving around a Sparrow with Transmat Preloader, you can keep using it and it will work just fine, or you can pull it from collections again and get 2 new perks. Newly created Sparrows will no longer roll on Transmat Preloader, so you have a chance to get yourself an extra perk that will retain the instant summon speed.
Yeah, that's
they better make all sparrows 160s.
Massive quality of life improvement.
great quality of life change. Yeah, 100%.
So,
Good stuff.
and then
Pretty neat.
the last bit in that economy section touches on what Nim was talking about earlier, where the Eververse Bright Ingrams will now contain Eververse content from season 1 up to 3 seasons prior to whichever season that we're in. So next season it'll be 1 through 9. On 13 it'll be 1 through 10, and then so on and so on and so on.
God, my postmaster's already crying, dude.
It's gonna be a lot of nonsense.
It's a lot of trash to delete.
Yeah.
Yep.
The big thing that we should keep in mind, there's going to be a 14-hour downtime on November 9th.
Yeah.
So get if you're looking for weapons, a day, do it before Monday.
More than a day in
Yeah.
advance because
just know, guys, that there's other games that you can play for like
Yes.
a day. It's gonna
Hades
be
is a
okay,
good
baby
one.
birds.
Hades is a good
It's gonna
one.
be okay, baby birds. I still cannot get. Never mind.
I can't
Moving
either,
on.
dude. I can't either. I'm with you. I know exactly what you're
Okay.
talking about.
And yeah, that's a big downtime right there.
Yeah, 14 hours of downtime.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Yeah, and then titles and seals with moments of triumph and season of arrivals coming to a close. Players will strongly be discouraged or encouraged to claim and equip the titles located in those seals, so it will correctly count as claimed. Yeah, that's the girth of it.
Oh baby.
don't wait till the last minute to get your stuff done. That's the big ticket item there, because 14 hours of downtime before those servers come back live. So if you're thinking of farming for that perfect Austringer before the 140 changes go into effect, do it before next Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? This was regarding like a whole twab ago. Are you guys a little worried that we're gonna get minimal to none tweaks to subclass abilities that are currently existing?
A little worried.
Because I'm a little
Yeah.
worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little chuffed about it.
I
hoping-
don't understand. What they did to my ruinous effigy made me forget all about anything else that could.
Yeah, who
possibly
cares?
exist. So what
cares?
are you specifically nervous about?
Because so in the last week's blog, the way whoever wrote it, the way they worded it, at the end there just kind of like makes me scared that they're not going to touch current subclasses, because they said that with that we come to an end on our sandbox previews leading up to Be Online, and some of you are asking, wait a minute, what about abilities? And they continue on to say that in 3 short weeks, the abilities you've come to know and master will be challenged by the darkness, and stasis will make its debut, bringing a new flavor of combat to the sandbox, and that the team will be watching closely as you embark on your first activities and stuff like that. That to me just sounds like that they're not planning on making any changes
Yep.
to subclasses so they can see how it coexists with
Mhm.
stasis. And that's a little disappointing.
They also want you to play
What
the
are-
new stuff though. Like
what are you looking to change though?
I mean, some of the outliers like I'm gonna get flamed, but
He's
like
gonna get
Top Tree
flamed.
Dawn,
okay.
Top
Oh,
Tree
yeah.
Dawn is
Top Tree.
it's too strong. Like it's just so strong. Obviously I will forever shill for my attunement of fission for my Nova Warp.
Yeah.
Because there are aspects of the super that are not great. The neutral game is decent for PvP. Getting your health regen back is great and all, but the super itself suffers. Even
Yeah.
though, despite what you may see on Twitter. Bottom tree, like bottom tree, Voidwalker is kind of lackluster as well.
The
and it
tether,
has been.
the you talking about for Hunter?
No, for Voidwalker.
Oh, okay.
Warlock.
I'm sorry.
Like
Is that
the
the
super
Devour
A.
tree? Is that the Devour tree?
Right. Devour is great. Like that's no question. But again, the super kind of suffers as well.
That super is like original OG Nova Bomb, which is
Yeah.
just too slow. The animation's too
Well,
slow, and
they increase the speed
Not
of the
great damage at it.
projectile, but I don't know, the size of the explosion of the Nova Bomb, like it's just so
they
easy
can
to
make it
miss.
travel as fast as they want. It takes 8 years to cast it.
Fair. Fair.
Like I
Come
started casting one yesterday. Yeah, it's still not out.
Next
Still waiting.
on Dragon Ball Z.
There we go.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be kind of like looked at, and I feel like it's not.
Yeah, I think 100% that we're not going to see any major changes to old subclasses for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and
that's a
Dylan,
concern.
right? And Dylan just now, there's been a lot of like Nova Warp talk on like the social media aspect, like Reddit and stuff like that. And they're, I know they're always collecting feedback, but now they're just focusing feedback on what people want to see out of reworked on that, which again just leads me to believe there's nothing
coming.
happening or changing
Man,
on.
I don't
Yeah.
think there is.
This is the problem.
All right,
Last time they made changes to the subclasses, they took Top Tree Tether and they nerfed it.
I don't.
Mhm.
They
I don't wanna-
nerfed
Yeah.
the armor you have while you're casting a super that you have no armor while you're casting.
They took
And they
defense
nerfed
from
it.
you.
So leave them alone. Leave it alone before they break something else that does they fix something else that doesn't need
I
fixing.
remember. They are also nerfed Nova Warp to the ground after
Good.
Forsaken Launch.
And stay
Like
down.
it was.
Stay
awful.
down. Right where you belong.
Hey,
Rude.
my feelings. But there's just a lot of things that need to be looked at, and I get it. Stasis is coming out, and they want to see how it works with some of these other abilities, but it's just kind of a bummer that it sounds like nothing's really going to change with them.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the reality, though. That there's no major changes in the pipeline until they see how stasis works and how it works in the sandbox, and then maybe a season or two down the road we'll get some revamped OG subclasses. Lord knows they're going to need it.
Yeah, I hope that's what we'll end up getting. We're probably going to see those reworked by Witch Queen, realistically speaking.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's probably the most likely outcome of all of this. Which,
Like as a
how
scientist,
it goes.
when you're learning about what you're working on, you want to limit the amount of variables as much as you can to learn as much and control as much as you can. And I think that if they were going to make a change to subclasses that are existing and introducing an entirely new element to the game, I feel like it would be too many knobs turned at once for them to understand and make the necessary changes when they're inevitably need to be made. Like just like when I'm doing something in the lab, I need to have control over so many things that if I change one, I know what caused my reactions. And
Mhm.
so that's what I see this initial part of the season being. They could make changes by the middle of the season if they need to, but I think they need to see all this stuff in play before they know what knobs they need to turn. I guarantee you
That's fair.
that
Yeah.
in their conversations, they're talking about Top Tree Dawn. They're
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
whether the tracking melee
Mhm.
should do 120 damage or whether or not the Icarus dash should
That
have a
was
longer
oddly
cooldown.
specific
Like,
there,
I
Aura.
mean,
no, well, I mean, hello. Like how many people win it with and it's so many really talented players who say talk about no skill whatsoever and then throw a tracking melee at somebody that does almost all their damage. And those are the
I
players who say,
mean,
and I love all of you. You guys, I'm big fans of the channels that I watch, but you're doing the same dopey shit you're talking shit about. So like I guarantee you it's in the conversations that they're having amongst each other. They're like, listen,
Yeah.
something's got to give, whether it's Icarus dash, the tracking melee, something here's gotta be able to be maneuvered. So I'm positive that those conversations are being made. I just don't think they want to make that change without seeing, because for all we know, as a hunter, I might blink at that floating dawn blade and it might just turn into ice and drop and shatter on the ground. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
For all we know. So
can only have so many
Yep.
controlled variables there with when you're introducing all of this new stuff to the game. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. So we have a couple of questions that I think we should ask before we get wrapping up the show.
Sir.
But Coffee 9 asks, do you guys feel like this season of The Hunt is going to absolutely fly by now that we've experienced such a long, extended season?
Oh, absolutely. That's always the way it is whenever we have a brand new season of content, especially when it's going to include a partially brand new sandbox. I think we're going to jump into Beyond Light, and before we know it, it's going to be midway through December, and we're like, okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
As is customary.
Yeah. This season was super long. Like to
Yeah,
like,
it went on for a while.
yeah. It did it remind anybody else of like D1 days when there was like a long drought in between stuff? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, it was a good
Mm,
season. Good
I feel
season.
like there's
Yeah.
more to do this season, and there's more to prep
Mhm.
for as we know what's coming down the pipeline. Like I've been running menagerie farming for Ostringers, and that playlist has been full. Like people are still active
Yes.
participating in things, and it's
Makes me
funny because
happy.
almost every run there's like 5 flawless guardians in there with me. I'm like, I know what you guys are after.
Mm-hmm.
I know what
Mhm.
y'all are
Yeah.
doing here.
Get that hand cannon. Get it while
Mhm.
you can, baby.
Mhm.
The only difference right now, Dan, is that we've had trickles of bits of stuff to do. If this was like in the olden days in Destiny 1, we
Just
would have
nothing.
stopped with Shadowkeep.
Mm-hmm. Just nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
Shadowkeep would have been
awful.
like the last bit of content that we played until Beyond Light.
You would have
Just let
gotten
that
something in the
sink in.
spring. You would have gotten something in the
Yeah.
spring, and then
Yeah.
but that would have been like 3 missions and a
Then a nice
woohoo!
message
Yeah.
saying, "See you in September."
Mm-hmm.
This season wasn't
Yeah.
bad. This
No,
season
it was a
pretty
great
good.
season. It was a
Yeah,
great
this was a good season. It was a good season.
Mosh Pat asks, now that we know a good bit of sandbox changes, what weapon do y'all think will break the meta this time? What's the new gnawing hunger?
Gnawing hunger.
Gnawing hunger. We just knocked literally one point of damage off of it.
Yeah.
It's still going to be gnawing hunger. It's going to take one additional bullet to kill you with
I
a
think-
gigantic magazine. It's fine.
I think you're going to see breach loading grenade launchers in PvE still. I mean, I ran Noble Labs today using R-Ring's Maul, and it was
It's
every
good.
bit as effective, if not more effective than Mountaintop for a number of reasons.
Did
so
you
I
have
think
blinding
that-
nades on it?
No, but I have one with it. I've got a truth teller with blinding nades on it, but being able to bounce projectiles off the wall, especially in that environment, was
Mhm.
actually beneficial where Mountaintop might not have been as good for what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see a lot change in the meta, so to speak. I think instead of what's the name of the freaking dark drinker now? Guillotine.
Falling guillotine.
You'll see more anarchy. Our oppressive darkness is still a thing, so you're still going to see bursts of void damage taking place. So I don't think PvE wise we're going to see a shift all that much. and if we do, it might be dictated by whatever the mods are on
Mm-hmm.
coming
Right.
into the next season.
Yeah.
And Crucible, I'd be interested to see what 140 in terms of a legendary outperforms others, but I think you're going to see an influx of Thorn and
Oh yeah.
Ace of Spades.
Oh
I
yeah.
think you're going to see those come back into play.
100%.
And I don't know. Fellwinter's Lies probably still going to be dominant. Astral Horizon, Eye of Soul are going to be weapons that you're probably going to see a whole lot of as they're relatively new and reliable.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
think you're right on the money there. I think we'll probably see a resurgence of Ace of Spades. Thorn presumably is going to be getting an impact increase with this bump to the 140 tier, which is going to make it a serious contender. Ostringer, good legendary to have, but I think the meta is probably not going to change too much. You'll still see a lot of auto rifle play because they're still basically
Yeah.
going to be killing you about as fast as they are right now, since they didn't get any sort of range change. They just got a slight knockdown, the slightest of
I think it's
knockdown to their
the difference
damage.
of one body shot might be the
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
one additional bullet into the body, so won't
The-
be too much of a change.
The aim assist on scouts, like Moonvald talked about it in chat. The aim assist on scouts might bring them up a little bit, but they're still not
Hope
going to be
so.
what
The
they.
problem is they removed the maps that scout rifles were beneficial on.
Yep.
The two emissary, the two forget what they were. The original trials map was one of them. And then that real
Economics.
long lane, I forget the other one was, but like the maps right now don't suit scout rifle play, which makes them hard
Yeah.
to fit into metas.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
unless that aim assist change is really, really noticeable, like to the point where Mida multi-tool is damn well near aiming itself, I don't know if it's going to change scouts too much.
You're aiming
They're
over
still gonna be-
here and just hitting headshots over here.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
the Queenbreaker's bow.
Oh, you
Yeah.
took it right out of my. You took the words right out of my
Yeah,
mouth.
turn scouts into
Oh.
queen breakers, or give them like the send it ability, like what Thorn had in year
Oh, boy.
one of D1, where you could shoot 2 meters that way and get a headshot. So we'll have to see.
I've been using that on the Anarchy runs. Mosh
Oh,
Pat,
yeah?
Mosh Pat was like, "Have you tried Queensbreaker here?" And I will report back. It is a fun weapon to use. Still on that boss. It is bonkers.
Good gun. It's a
Yeah.
good gun.
I think I was
And,
getting upwards of like 90k damage on it at certain points, like just combination wise of stats. It's pretty awesome.
Not bad at all, man. But yeah, I'm excited to see the new sandbox.
Yeah, same. Dissolute Dusk or Duck asks, with the nerf to mountaintop, or will the nerf to mountaintop actually make it not OP in PvP? It'll change. It'll definitely change it. I mean,
Mhm.
especially the aiming. It's not gonna be as effective in
Yeah.
the air.
That's
I
the
think
big
that's
thing.
the biggest thing.
Mhm.
It is just like, I mean, it's a rocket launcher, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think the in-air accuracy with the 7%, I guess, percent error that could come out of a shot, 7% angle that could come out, will most likely be the biggest, the biggest change. The fact that it can't be used in trials, which is it's everywhere, I think is
Yeah.
going to be the biggest thing too. The fact that
Yeah.
it's going to be sunset is going to be more so impactful because you don't see a lot of like you don't see a lot of quick play sweat lords using mountaintop. You might see it in comp, but that's probably about it. Probably the only place where you're going to see a lot of mountaintop if it is at all effective after this change.
Ultimately, should be better. I completely agree. I've got nothing to add to that.
Yep. That was all the questions for print.
All the questions fit to print.
Mhm.
Good and done.
Yep.
Well, all right then, gentlemen. I do believe that brings us to the end of episode 259 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We stretched this one out. We were able to do it. There wasn't too much to talk about this week, but we made a conversation out of it with a surprise appearance by Nim. I hope you enjoyed your nap. I woke up fresh-faced for the the mid-show join.
It was so good. I typically have such a hard time falling asleep during the day, but bro, to just like relax after a shower,
Nice
knock my
shower.
ass right
Oh,
out.
I don't know what you were thinking. No, you know what? I do know what you were thinking. You were thinking, I'm about to sleep. That's what you were. You knew what you were doing, man. Playing it off. Who lays down after taking a shower and isn't immediately thinking, "Oh, I'm about to nap. It's
Bro,
time to catch some Z's."
I got an air conditioner, a nice TV. I intended
Oh.
on watching movies, and it did not happen.
That's a nap. I think trumps all of that. Oh man, maybe I'm old, but listen, kids. You hated naps when you were a baby, but your parents were right when they told you you will long for naps when you get older. Good Lord, do I wish I had more time to nap these days. And you know what? I might go take a nap now because we are finished with the show.
You're talking
And
like
of
you're
course,
80.
I mean, I feel like it sometimes. Sometimes I wake up and want to take a nap. First thing in the morning, I wake up and it's like, oh man, it's time for a nap. It's what Florida does to you. This is the retirement capital of the U.S. When you move down here, you just kind of become an old person by proxy. That's just the way it is in the Sunshine State, baby. All right, let's go ahead and get on out of here. Before we do, let everybody know where we can find ourselves across the internet, starting with the man who joined last. Nim, where are you? Do you still do stuff?
I streamed this past week.
What?
What?
Yeah, as you guys can tell, I for some reason my internet just decided to work properly. I haven't dropped since I got in here, so that's a plus. So yeah, not doing a whole lot though. So if you want to chat with me outside of here, just twitter.com/nplace. That's where you can hit me up.
Right on, man. Thanks for joining tonight. I was happy to see you get in here.
I'm sorry. I woke up and I saw the ping, and I just see, how dare you? Oh no.
Look, man, I thought you were going to be here. I was looking forward to talking to my homie.
I'm super late. Apologize.
Right on, right on. Well, still great to have you here, buddy. We can get back to hunting one of these days.
For sure.
Aura, what about you, man?
You can't find me. Sorry, dude.
Can't.
This
Yep.
is it. This is the only place you're gonna see me for now.
Off doing science.
That's
Big
it.
science things. I follow
That's
your Twitter. I watch those pictures. I like it.
Testing tomorrow. Big day
Right on,
tomorrow.
dude. Right on, right on. Well, I wish you success. I hope you get the results you're looking for.
My liver does too.
Oof.
Because if not, my liver's in trouble. We're gonna be
Oh,
having
boy.
ourselves some drinkies tomorrow if it doesn't work.
Right on, man. Here's hoping. Dan.
Yeah.
Where you at, man?
Hi, my name's Danfinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, where the eyes are else. You can also find me on Twitch 3 days a week, bashing my brains out, trying to help 26 more Guardians at least get Anarchy before the season of Beyond Light happens.
Almost there.
Almost there. Very close. PC will be on Tuesday, Xbox on Thursday, and then Sunday will be PlayStation. I was planning on something on Monday and then realized that there was going to be like 14 hours of downtime. So I don't think there's I don't think there's going to be any move on that. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Yeah, hop in the Discord and find some good folks.
Right on, right on. Check that out. I'm gonna be keeping tabs on that. I wanna know right when you hit 100. You're over the hill, baby.
I'm
You're
trying to
almost
think
there.
of like something to do to celebrate because we're 3 away. I have to we have to keep it rolling. How many? That's like eight anarchies per stream. I have to help people get at least. Yeah, that's gonna be that's something else. We'll figure that out as we go.
I believe, dude. I
Yeah.
believe. You got
I
it.
believe in you, man. You got this.
So, yeah.
100%. You got this. And of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. This week, probably going to be more of the same. I'll be having some live streams Monday through Friday at around 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Probably going to be streaming some more Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Still really in love with that game. And I started playing Division 2 again recently. Been really getting back into that. They just had a big title update drop a couple of weeks ago. That's been a lot of fun. They added in a new in-game activity that I've been kind of spamming it out in. So I'm probably going to be live streaming a bit of that over the course of this week. And then, the occasional Destiny 2 live stream where I just jump on and complain about everything Bungie does. That's who I am. It's just Nim knows. Nim's been on my live streams. Me and John, it's just what we do. It's just how it
I'd say it's
goes.
more what John does than you do, but you know.
I mean, that's a salty man. He's a salty, salty man, and I love it. I love that guy. He's a great dude. But all right, everybody, that is it for episode 259 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to this week in Destiny. We'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.